this lamp wash me out too much, or is it okay? It's maybe too much. Let's turn it off. Hold, please. Oh, that's dark. Okay, let's try this again. Hello. Welcome to my new hobby corner. Now that, well, I love this lamp, and we got, figuring out the lighting of it still. But anyways, welcome. I hope you have a fresh brewed cup of coffee. I do. And let's chat. Let's talk about where we've been, what we've been up to since I last posted last week, I think. I don't remember. So, I think I told you guys when I last posted, I have finished draft 1 of book 2. I'm calling book 2 The Anatomy of Avarice. And the whole series I've decided to call The Chronicles of Sin. So draft 1 of book 2 is done. And I started draft 1 of book 3. I just started chapter 3 yesterday. So in today's little vlog, we're going to hopefully, fingers crossed, finish at least chapter 3. I have also a couple different errands and stuff to run today that will go on. Since we just moved to a new area, I don't have a library card yet. And you know me, I love the library. So we're going to go out and we're going to check out the library here right by where I live, and we're going to get a library card. And then obviously have to go grocery shopping or whatever. So we have a couple different things to do today. But really more importantly, let's talk about the book. So I've started querying The Physics of Pride, book 1. And I submitted my query package to this girl I found online. Her name is Paige. She's another creator in the bookish space, and she does friendly, helpful looks at query packages for you and gives you some feedback and some advice. So I had sent my query package to her before I started. Well, let's be honest here, okay? There was one agent who had opened her queries back in June, or no, maybe July. And she was only going to be open for that month. And my query package wasn't as polished as it is now, but I really, really wanted to query her. She'd been on my list for a while. So impulsively, I submitted a unpolished query letter to her. She did unfortunately reject me. But we all learn from our mistakes, and I'm trying not to be impulsive about it now. So I submitted my query package to Paige, and she gave me some really good, helpful feedback of it. I went back, fixed some stuff that she said I needed to fix, clarified things that she said I needed to clarify, and then I started fully, officially querying book 1. Yay! I've submitted to 8 different agents for this first round. So I'm going to do it in stages. So I have 8 different agents I've submitted to in this first round. Most are projected to get back to me sometime between September and November. And then there are 2 publisher imprints that are currently accepting unsolicited or unagented manuscripts that I submitted to as well. One of them is Red Tower Books. And Red Tower is one of my top 3 dream publishers to work for. So fingers crossed on that one. And then Tiny Reparations is an imprint of Penguin Random House, and they're accepting unsolicited or unagented manuscripts at this time. They're only doing it for 1,000 queries, and then they're going to close the portal. And so I just you know what? YOLO, why the hell not? So I submitted to them last night. So it's 2 publishers, 8 agents, and I'm going to kind of leave it at this. There's one more agent that I'm not on the fence about submitting to her, but she doesn't open her queries until the end of August. So I'm trying to decide if I want to lump her into this first round when she opens her queries at the end of August, or kind of how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. We'll see. TBD on that one. But anyway, so we're querying book 1. draft of 1 of book 2 is done. We're working on draft 1 of book 3. So things are kind of moving along. And one of the things that I did, I haven't included like officially in my query, but a couple agents have asked on their query form, like, is this like a standalone with series potential, or is this part of a bigger series? And I've been very honest with them. Like, this book, Physics of Pride, is written to be part of a series. Like, could it stand on its own? Yes. Each book could, in theory, stand on their own and be okay that way. The problem is like it's like a very gray area, I think, if they could stand on their own. Like, it is all written to be part of a bigger series. It's written to be part of one big overarching story. So like releasing book 1, the way the epilogue ends is, so like the main story ends in like a satisfying way that leaves a little bit of like, okay, what comes next for the next book? But like, you could also leave it there and just be like, done, right? And then the epilogue that I wrote leaves it in a little bit more of like a mystique cliffhangery kind of way, you know? So it really does prompt another book, and especially because this is dark academia and it's set in like a collegiate university setting, it'd be kind of like if we read the first book of Harry Potter knowing that he has like 7 years before he graduates Hogwarts, and then we just like never did the other 7 years, and you'd be like, what else goes on while he's at Hogwarts, right? So it's kind of like that, like, because your time spent at Erebus College of Grim Arts is 3 years. That's kind of why it was 3 books. But I've been trying to tell agents when they ask me that question in the most professional way that I can. Like, yes, this is part of a trilogy, but I'm actively writing books 2 and 3 right now. And I kind of am hoping that that will like appeal to them. So it's not like, yeah, it's part of a trilogy, but like I've not started working on anything else in the trilogy. But like, no, I'm actively writing stuff in the other trilogy. I have an idea for a novella, that if all of this goes to publish and like works out well, then like I have an idea for like a novella, um, 2 novellas actually, that would be like kind of little spin-offs of the main story, which is very Jennifer Armentrout of me. But like, you know, because she has the like From Blood and Ash series, and then she has all of the series that she writes have like spin-off series. Like Storm and Fury is one of my comp titles for this, for Physics of Pride, and then she also has like what, Wrath and Ruin or something like that is like a spin-off book, or maybe Storm and Fury is a spin-off book of Wrath and Ruin. I don't know. But I have a lot of ideas of like different books and like spin-offs and novellas and things that can like come out of this. So I feel very confident in the queries that I've submitted, which I don't know if that is like beginner's confidence and delusion, or if like it's actually as good as I think it is, and therefore it's going to work out. I don't know. TBD. Let's find out. We're on this journey together. But like I said, we're going to get into some writing today. We're going to try to finish draft, or whoa, not finish the draft today. That would be crazy of me. We're going to try to get chapter 3 written. So let's grab our coffee and let's go get on with it. Here's the thing. Ugh, with putting my desk over here the way that I have. One, I love to be by the window, but I didn't account for the, I guess, depth of my desk versus the size of my chair. So now I kind of have to like squish myself in order to get into this chair. Let me get situated over here. Ooh, throwing stuff on the floor. Okay. Ugh. Get my life together. So, in book 1, I think we've talked about it, but in book 1, we like meet our cast of characters, we meet Kaida, our main character, we kind of get information about the world, you know, what's a Grimborn, what's a Reaper, how do their bonds work, blah, 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 right? Book 1 is very much like the setting up the world, the story, the exposition, the whatever. And then we introduce the main plot of book 1, but that ties into the overarching plot of all 3 books, kind of there. And the big focus, or I guess big subplot of book one is Kaida and her sin of pride and how she keeps falling victim to it, essentially. So, and then in book two, I mean, it's only a rough draft right now, so I know what's going to happen in the story, but we're really trying to like flesh it out and figure it out. But anyways, so and then in book two, we kind of continue on with this like big overarching storyline, and the subplot of that one is one of the characters, Avara, whose sin is avarice, and her falling victim to this sin of avarice, which leads to all of these events and whatever, which obviously then sets up book three. And then book three, I'm calling the geometry of gluttony. And the subplot for that is the third female character, Althea. And Althea's sin is gluttony. And a lot of people, when I say, oh, her sin is gluttony, they're like, oh, she like, I don't know, they always think of like pigs almost. And I guess that's because that's like the iconographic imagery that goes with gluttony. But her sin of gluttony, the reason that I picked that for her is because Althea is an empath. And the thing that triggers Althea to fall into this sin is by being an empath and being like a hard peacemaker, essentially. Althea is willing constantly to sacrifice her own happiness and her own emotions in order to take on those of other people and solve other people's problems. And the nickname for gluttony in the books is the Hollow Maw. And it's quite literally, I picked it because I wanted it to be this thing with Althea where she's constantly barraged by other people's emotions and consuming those emotions into herself and letting that affect herself and like sacrificing what she wants and what she feels and what she needs in order to, help other people around her. And so that's kind of why I picked gluttony for her with that. I honestly, with that vision, couldn't think of one of the other 7 deadly sins that like fits that better than gluttony. So, but anyways, so the subplot for this book is Althea and her overcoming that sin of gluttony and finally like figuring out how to protect herself from other people's emotions and like stand up for herself and not let herself be a victim to other people's emotions anymore and like come into her own kind of thing, but we're on, okay, how many words do we have in this chapter so far? Okay, so for chapter 3, we have 380 words so far. It's literally like a paragraph or two. But we have 4,390 words so far in the entire manuscript. Which, for the first 3 chapters, like for a first draft, first 3 chapters, like that's pretty all right. So we're going to try to finish out chapter 3 today. My rough drafts, I don't typically give myself a word count to stick to in chapters, which is probably how I end up being an underwriter an underwriter for things, but like whatever. So I try to have like a minimum of like 1,500 words in each chapter. Like if I was going to give myself a limit, that would be my like marker of, okay, this chapter is like in a solid place for a first draft if there's about 1,500 words in it. Sometimes I get really ambitious and I get really crazy and I just start like going. Like I think chapter 1 of this draft right now is at like 2,400 words, something like that. But we're going to try to go through some more with chapter 3 on this right now. I will quit yapping. We'll get into writing. Gonna drink some coffee before it gets cold. And I'll give you an update here at the end. we're at. So I just finished chapter 3. We're at 5,283 words total in the manuscript, and chapter 3 is like 1,200 words. And honestly, for the first draft, I'm kind of calling it good there. I know that, I usually try to keep it around, 1,500, but I don't know. I kind of like where it's at with this just 1,200 for this first draft right now. So we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna call it good. Oh, there's blood. I am gonna go get in the shower, and start getting dressed and ready to go on our errands and adventures today. So I will check back in with you here in just a little bit. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I don't like that light up there. I'm having lighting problems today. I haven't figured out all of the good angles in this apartment yet, so you're just gonna have to bear with me a minute. Okay, is this better? I think so. So, we are dressed, we took a shower, that whole thing. I've been doing, there's another creator whose name I'm totally blanking on. So when I edit this, I think I'm gonna add it in I'll just put it up as like a little caption or whatever. But there's another creator who's doing like weekly style challenges to try to get you to like try new outfit combinations and things in with the clothes you already have in your closet. So I've been participating in those just as like a little fun thing. So Friday's challenge was monochrome, and this is what we came up with. I used to have like a light blue skirt, like a little mini skirt that I would wear with this top and like a little monochrome thing, but I'm pretty sure I donated that before we moved. Um, Rip. So we're wearing it with some jeans instead. So this is our look today. Um, we even got, here, I'll come closer so you can see. We even have our little moon necklace and then a blue wedding ring to go with all of it too, to just really fit in with the monochrome look. So we're gonna go, I'm gonna put some shoes on because I'm not wearing any shoes right now, but we're gonna go pick up my husband from work because we're gonna go get lunch together, and then we're gonna go run all of our errands. Let's go. We even have the blue aviators to go with the rest of our monochrome. These are actually my husband's, but whatever. Okay, so we went and we got lunch, we got Chick-fil-A, we got a boba. Mine's all melted now because it's 1,000,000 degrees outside here. But I just pulled into parking by the library, so I'm gonna go pay because it's the downtown city area, and of course we have to pay. So I'm gonna go pay, and then we're gonna go get a library card. Okay, so I just left the library. I don't like filming too much in the library because I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to some other people that are there. But this library is friggin' huge, okay? It has 6 floors, a maker space with like giant 3D printers. There's a moon rock exhibit, so we'll be going back to check that out someday. I got my library card. Hold on, I'll show you. Here it is. Yay! They had a really cute like little manatee one, but they were out. So I got this one instead, which, it's accurate. So anyways, I went and looked around. The one thing about it that was a little confusing, I will say, is like most other libraries, public libraries I've ever been to, have like a dedicated section for sci-fi and fantasy. This library doesn't. It's all just like the lit fic, the sci-fi, the fantasy, anything that we can consider in the like fiction genre. Basically anything that's like not non-fiction is all shelved in the same places. Like mangas, it's like one side of the aisle was just like every kind of fiction you can imagine, and then the other side of the aisle was like manga and comic books. So that was a little confusing because I'm just used to like dedicated like fantasy sci-fi sections. But they have a lot of really good selections. I didn't get anything today because I just started reading A Trade of Blood by Robert Jackson Bennett. And I had got that, if you guys saw the video that I had posted, I got that on my most recent Barnes & Noble trip. So I didn't get anything today just because I literally am only like 3 chapters into this book, and I don't want to check something out and then
not be able to read it because I like run out of time because I'm reading something else. But I did add a bunch of new books to my TBR that I saw that I was like, oh, let me put this on my TBR because I'm gonna come back and get it another day, which is really exciting. But for now, I'm gonna start heading back home, and I'm gonna swing through the grocery store on my way. So I will probably not check in with you guys until I get back to the house. And if I do it all in a reasonable amount of time, I should have time to write a little bit more before I have to go pick up my husband from work. All right, see you soon.
I ended up not being able to go right yesterday whenever I got home because I took so long in the grocery store that by the time I was done, I had to go pick up my husband from work. So, and then I got a the first rejection query in the middle of all of that yesterday. I was just not in the mood. Um, I will say it's probably a new record for me for fastest rejection. I had queried that person literally the day before, so that kind of stung a little, but it's part of the process. It's kind of how it goes. And I found last night two new agents that I'm thinking about querying. Part of me is like, no, wait, and part of me is like very impulsive about it. So I don't really know what I'm gonna end up doing with that yet. I think I might actually end up just caving while I'm talking out loud. I end up caving and just querying one of them. A lot of the genres and things that she's looking for, I think, really, really align with what Physics of Pride is. So I might cave and end up just querying her. We'll see. TBD. Um, but hold on. Ugh, my hand's getting tired. Sorry, I'm like holding you with my hand and my hand's getting tired. Um, but that is pretty much all the updates for me. That's everything for this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and I will have some more updates and see you again next video. I think the next one will do a true writing vlog because it's been a while since I've done one of those. And I will see you then. Bye.